कहना चाहते हैं?
Viewers, big relief for the Congress party ahead of the Lok Sabha polls. The Income Tax Department told the Supreme Court today that it will not act against the Congress party to recover tax dues amounting to over 3,500 crore. The matter will be heard next on July 24th. The Congress had approached the Supreme Court after it received notices from Income Tax Department seeking the payment of tax dues amounting to that whopping number of 3,567 crore. The opposition party has accused the ruling BJP of tax terrorism and alleged the Income Tax Department's move as an attempt to choke it financially in the run-up to the polls. The party had said that this was disrupting the level playing field for the polls and also urged the Election Commission to intervene. But as luck would have it, the IT says, we are stepping down. We can discuss this matter with you after the elections. I'm handing you straight across to Anand Narasimhan and the Right Stand.
Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I'm Arvind Kejriwal. Government oil companies have now released new prices of petrol and diesel. Starting today, the 1st of April, that have made fuel cheaper in many parts and many states of Bharat. After this cut, the price of petrol in the national capital, Delhi, is now 94.72 rupees per litre, down by 2 rupees. It was earlier 96.72 rupees per litre. In Mumbai, also, the price of petrol fell by a little more than 1 rupee. Oil cos also decreased the prices of both 19 kilogram commercial cylinders and the 5 kilogram free trade LPG cylinders. The price of a 19 kg commercial cylinder now has actually decreased by nearly 30.5 rupees or 30.5 rupees. 2 aircraft have been manufactured by HAL that have been delivered to Guyana. These would help in connecting remote areas, medical evacuation and disaster response. Indian High Commissioner welcoming the Indian Air Force team visiting Guyana and hailed it as a new chapter in India-Guyana partnership. Meanwhile, HAL or the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited has recorded the highest ever revenue from operations of over 29 crore rupees in the last financial year. The Bengaluru headquartered Defence PSU has registered double-digit growth of around 11% as against 9% in the previous financial year. Bharat's defence exports have reached an all-time high of 21,083 crore rupees in the financial year 2023-24 with a 32.5% jump in FY24 compared to the previous financial year. The confirmation coming from the Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh himself, who hailed these heights and witnessed for the first time in the history of independent India. So the HAL that was making losses now is making profits. Our defense exports have gone up, ladies and gentlemen. Let's now set up the big story here on this edition of The Right Stand, and this is also the subject for the first debate. We are less than a month ahead of the first vote being cast. Yes, 19th of April actually, ladies and gentlemen, when the ballot will be cast in the first phase of elections. Now, with a firm eye on the southern states to achieve that Mission 370, the BJP now picking up an issue that involves a small island, which name itself in Tamil means barren island, Katchatheevu. This is a small island of the coast of Tamil Nadu and 20 miles away from Dhanushkodi, an island formed due to volcanic eruptions in the 14th century. Katchatheevu was passed down from the control of the Jaffna kingdom or Jaffna Patna to the Ramanad or the Ramanathapuram provincial Zamindari. Then it was handed over to the British. Post-independence, Sri Lanka pressed its claims on the island and did not allow Indian Navy to conduct exercises on this island without its permission, and this lasted through the 50s, into the 60s and then into the 70s. It is now at the center of a heated political debate. Over the last few years, an increasing number of fishermen from Bharat have been arrested by the Sri Lankan Navy in this very region. But the reason it now is part of news is because of an RTI reply. This reply has put former Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, former Prime Minister Srimati Indira Gandhi, the former Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M. Karunanidhi, all in the dock for giving up claim on this island, giving up Bharat's sovereignty on this island, especially because the reasons for doing so, as per the documents that we have accessed, seem flimsy. Despite strong opinion that Bharat has a strong legal case, did we just give this island up? RTI documents reveal that Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru dismissed the issue as inconsequential. Documents prepared by the then Commonwealth Secretary reveal Bharat's alleged indecision over pursuing this entire island and our claim to sovereignty, and finally giving up the claim in 1974. The documents also show how the then MEA's Joint Secretary had concluded that Bharat has a good legal case which could be leveraged for securing fishing rights. Then why did we give this island up? Why did this island, today of strategic significance, political implications, and more importantly, a matter of livelihood, and for many, a matter of faith too, ladies and gentlemen, why did we give it up? Now, before we get into that, let me first tell you where this island actually is. Katchatheevu is an uninhabited island offshore, and this is in the Park Bay, and you've got the map there and that red dot points it out there. The 285-acre land is jointly administered by Bharat and Sri Lanka during the British rule. It is the result of a volcanic eruption in the seas in the 14th century, beg your pardon, and it's been there since then. It forms a boundary between Bharat and Sri Lanka, and that line is the agreed upon line since 1974. It lies northeast of Rameshwaram and is its own religious significance because there is an old Roman Catholic church there, and of course there is an altar of St. Anthony's. It's just 33 kilometers from the coastline and is given the growing Chinese presence in this entire region. This island's strategic importance can only be further underlined. It is also much closer to Bharat than it is to the Sri Lankan coast, and it's evident from the map itself. The Katchatheevu issue has come back into the limelight after the Prime Minister accused both the Congress and DMK of callously giving away the island in 1974. Documents obtained through RTI pin the blame on former Prime Ministers Jawaharlal Nehru and Indira Gandhi. Now here's more from this RTI copy. We've got a 14-page annexure also with us. The first revelation that comes to the fore, that Pandit Nehru declared he attached no importance to this little island. He also said he wouldn't hesitate to give up claim on this island. Indira Gandhi called it uninhabited cluster of sand and rocks. M. Karunanidhi was informed about the negotiations with Sri Lanka. The then Chief Minister had said that he was inclined to accept the solution. But because of political ramifications in Tamil Nadu, he wouldn't publicly endorse it. Now here's a look at the entire timeline of negotiations. In 1960, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru downplayed this entire matter. The MEA acknowledged legal complexities again in the 60s of the island's sovereignty. 1961, the AG believed Bharat had a stronger case based on historical rights. 1974, after years of negotiations, decision to relinquish the claim. 1974, the Indira government deciding to cede control of the island. 1974, formalized through Indo-Sri Lanka Maritime Agreement. So there were agreements on paper. Why then are Bharat's fishermen at sea, both literally and figuratively? There were two agreements that were inked between Bharat and Sri Lanka. In 1974, the then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi and Sri Lankan Prime Minister Sirima Bandaranaike signed an agreement that ceded Katchatheevu to Sri Lanka. The 1974 agreement allowed Bharat's fishermen to access the island. Access was given for resting, drying nets and visiting the St. Anthony Shrine without a visa. In 1976, a supplementary agreement prohibited fishermen from both nations from fishing in each other's exclusive economic zones without permission. The agreements have been contentious to say the least, and this has only further increased the fracas. More importantly, hurt to Bharat's fishermen because of strong presence of the Sri Lankan Navy there, who shoot first and then ask questions later. And this was also because of the long time Tamil-Sri Lanka Sinhala internal civil war, and where the allegation made by the Sinhala-led Sri Lankan government was that Tamil support to the LTTE was coming via these islands, and this island was a pit stop for also illegal entrants into Bharat. Several questions arise on why Bharat didn't fight harder. After all, While the scale of the island may be unimportant, its location strategically is very, very important. Katchatheevu Island is located in the Pak Strait between Bharat and Sri Lanka. The island has been a point of contention in the region's geopolitics given Sri Lanka's recent proximity with China. And in fact, this issue, presence of a pro-China lobby in Sri Lanka, was flagged off even in the 1960s, ladies and gentlemen. That's what the documents show. Now, according to reports, recently the Sri Lankan government reportedly leased land around the Delft Island and Katchatheevu, this region only, to Chinese power companies, citing the possible presence of oil reserves or oil deposits in that region. Katchatheevu has the potential to serve as a site for naval activities to counter increasing Chinese presence. Many of Bharat's fishermen's livelihoods depend on access to the waters around Katchatheevu. 2 miles here and there could mean the difference between a very, very healthy catch and absolutely nothing, ladies and gentlemen. That's the importance of this entire region. Ambiguity around the agreements has also led to the arrest of many fishermen and confiscation of equipment by the Sri Lankan Navy. As recently as 2022, the Sri Lankans had charged as much as 10 million as ransom to release the Indian fishermen. Katchatheevu Island also holds cultural and religious significance for people in Bharat and in Sri Lanka as well. It is the home to St. Anthony's Shrine, which is an important religious site for pilgrims from both nations. So let's dive into this and say who's at fault here. Is the BJP at fault for raking this up when back in 2015 itself there was an underlying perhaps establishment or reiteration of Katchatheevu by the Modi-led government? Why this change in position today? C.R. Keshavan, national spokesperson of the BJP, is with us. On the other hand, DMK Congress, not a blade of grass grows there, was said about Aksai Chin, and its barren and untouched land is said about Katchatheevu. So top and tail, relinquishing land, giving up an important portion of the run of Kutch to Pakistan, again under Indira Gandhi. Lot of aspects where we compromised on our sovereignty and strategically important land regions, of which we are facing the consequences today. Amarika V. Narayanan, Congress leader, with us, and Pulla Rao, political analyst, with us. Mr. Pulla Rao, where do you stand on this before we get the Congress and BJP into it?
Can you see me? Sorry.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Let me tell you straight away, I don't mind this issue being raked up for discussion. I don't mind this lesson of history that we shouldn't do this. But I felt a little upset that when the Prime Minister raises this issue, it is a very, very serious affair. Do you repudiate, reject the agreements that the government of India signed? Fine, if you fight it unjust. Then you will be towing the Chinese line. What do the Chinese say? That the agreement between Britain and Tibet on the McMahon line was signed when Tibet was a weak state and Britain was a superpower, so we reject the agreement. Or for that matter, you know what the Chinese are doing in the South China Sea. They're neglecting all the old agreements. There has to be, yes, you have explained very well, it's an emotional issue. It is, nobody could imagine in 1960s that one day there will be something called underground, undersea oil, and well, all this was in the past. But by raking it up, you're alienating Sri Lanka further and you're not going to get back the island. Is it just for the Prime Minister to give a lesson in history or warn us? I personally believe that it is not an issue you rake up because we got so many other such agreements. The Legal and Treaties Division of the Ministry of External Affairs is chock and block with hundreds of such agreements which have favored India for the simple reason that Britain negotiated it for us before 1947. Maybe the northeastern boundaries, maybe other boundaries, or what the Britain did between Afghanistan and Pakistan, the Durand line. So is it worthwhile to say, alas, this was badly done? And one more point I would say, I'm sure the congressman can defend the Congress party, but prime ministers and leaders take decisions on the need of the moment. Right. They don't anticipate 50 years hence. And don't forget, what was India's state after the 62 war? Then the 65 war with Pakistan. America against us. Britain against us. And we were surrounded. At that time, as you mentioned, Sirimavo Bandar Naik was the Prime Minister. She was pro-Chinese and all of that. There had to be peace on one side, maybe temporary peace. If it's such a bad agreement, maybe 100 years hence it will be revised. But it is most inappropriate. It should never become political football. And finally, is it going to get votes for the BJP? I don't think so. These are issue after issue after issues which are good for debate and good for saying I got you.
Pullarao-ji, Pullarao, do you know what happened on the 18th of August 2023?
No, you can elaborate a little bit.
Mr. Do you know who's the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister? Through M.K. Stalin?
Yeah.
He's the one who said retrieving Katchatheevu from Sri Lanka, that's the only way that it will permanently end the problems of fishermen of Bharat.
Yes, and he is the same man who said you have Tamil Elam. So they say many things. He is not Prime Minister of the country.
But he's Chief Minister of the state, sir.
He is not the custodian of our national sovereignty.
He's Chief Minister of the state, and did he forget
Minister.
that his own father, his own father, the very respected Mr. Muthuvel Karunanidhi,
Father took a patriotic stance.
No,
Father
sir.
said fine. Father took a patriotic stance when the government asked him. Mr. Stalin is the Chief Minister.
Father took a patriotic stance by saying give the island away.
No, he said I won't raise issues because the government of India.
The Chief Minister once again signified his general acceptance of the suggested solution, said that for obvious political reasons he could not be expected to take a public stand in favor of it. The Chief Minister, however, assured the Foreign Secretary that he will help keep the reaction at a low key and would not allow for it to be played up. 20th of June 1974, this is the note of the then Joint Secretary who had briefed the Chief Minister, Mr. M. Karunanidhi. This is what I have, sir, as an annexure of the RTI, the full document, and this is what it's titled. Record of talks held in Madras, which Shri M. Karunanidhi, the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, on 19th of June 1974. Foreign Secretary Shri Keval Singh, accompanied by the Director Historical Division Shri B.K. Basu, called on the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Shri M. Karunanidhi, at the Secretariat Conference Room, Fort St. George, Madras, on the 19th of June 1974 at 11 a.m. It's all documented here. It's not a figment of my imagination. It is signed, and this is where Mr. M. Karunanidhi said, I will allow you to do it, but I will not talk about it because of political ramifications internally in Tamil Nadu. So that's Mr. Karunanidhi, and he did it for patriotic reasons. But Mr. M.K. Stalin, when he raises it in 18th of August 2023, it is inconsequential. We should overlook it. But we should consider it ahead of the elections because the Prime Minister has spoken about it, Mr. Pullarao. C.R. Keshavan of the BJP is there. Let him respond.
First thing, Anand, I'd like to say, this is a matter which is being, the people, the fishermen and the fisherwomen, our brothers and sisters who go out to the seas for their livelihood on a daily basis, face peril and their lives are at danger. They're being attacked, they're being shot at, they're being detained, they're being imprisoned, and some of them have lost their lives. So it is not political. This is about the interest of the Tamil people. You very clearly explained the nonchalant, indifferent attitude which was carried on by the daughter Indira Gandhi from Nehru. When G. Vishwanathan, a parliament member from Tamil Nadu, raised a question saying, you show so much interest about Deoga Garcia, which is so many thousand miles away, but why are you not attaching importance to Katchatheevu, which is 40 nautical miles away? She dismissed it, saying it's a little raw. But the foreign minister today, with his press conference and detailing the RTI document, what has come about is it's unmasked, it's exposed. The Shakuni-like match fixing of the DMK Congress, the devious nexus and the dubious double standards of the DMK Congress, who betrayed the Tamil people and gave Katchatheevu and compromised on India's integrity and sovereignty. Let's look at what has come out today with these documents. Like you said, DMK was ruling in the state, Centre was ruling the Congress, the same India alliance was back in alliance then. Just 7 days before this Katchatheevu agreement was signed on June 26, 1974, on June 19th, they come here to tell the Chief Minister, who is in general acceptance, and then he says, oh, I won't speak about it publicly. but I will, I understand and I will keep the reaction low key. This is what I call Shaguni like match fixing. The problem
Sir, then what happened on the 27th?
21 times the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister has written, these people act as if they are the sole proprietors of the welfare of the Tamil fishermen and women. They shed crocodile tears and they completely conveniently mask the role they have played in gifting away Katchatheevu. So, like the foreign minister said, not only who did it, the Congress party, who hid it, the DMK party has been exposed today. And giving away Katchatheevu is the fountainhead. It's the root cause why our fishermen, brothers and sisters are being attacked every day, and the people are angered because they've seen this and they demand an apology. The Congress and the DMK should come out to the nation and the Tamil people and apologize not for this blunder, but this betrayal.
Okay, now what happened on the 27th of January 2015? If my memory serves me right, before I bring in Mr. Americanar, if my memory serves me right, the current Prime Minister was the Prime Minister then. It was the NDA under Prime Minister Narendra Modi only in power. Sir, I am reading this very clearly. The answer, this is given an RTI reply. The RTI reply says, and I am just going to increase it. Yeah. Katchatheevu Island lies on Sri Lanka side of India-Sri Lanka International Maritime Boundary Line, IMBL, that was delineated by the 1974 agreement demarcating it in the Park Straits and the subsequent 1976 agreement demarcating it in the Gulf of Mannar and Bay of Bengal. This did not involve either acquiring or ceding of territory belonging to Bharat, since the area in question has never been demarcated. Under the agreements, the island of Katchatheevu lies on Sri Lankan side of the India-Sri Lanka International Maritime Boundary Line. Signed Dr. Rajiv Ranjan, Under Secretary, Sri Lanka and CPIO.
Let me respond. In 1974, the Katchatheevu agreement gave away the Katchatheevu Island, but you retained fishing rights, navigation rights and pilgrimage rights. So why do you need an agreement if it is not yours? Then why did the Congress government in 1976 forfeit these rights? Only because they forfeit these rights, the Sri Lankan Navy shoots at our fishermen brothers and sisters. So this is a diversion, deflection and distraction tactic by the DMK which they post today. And let me reiterate again, only because of the Prime Minister's initiative speaking to Sri Lankan counterpart and the Foreign Minister's initiative speaking to his counterpart, you have saved and released so many of these prisoners who have been imprisoned and detained there. So let us not forget that. And let me tell you this, Prime Minister Modi will come back for a third term. There is a Modi ki guarantee. This betrayal will be resolved, but the DMK and Congress will pay for it.
Okay, America and Narayanan, please respond. There are multiple documents which show that there is no copy of the enclosed agreement or ceding of land. This is a 27 January statement that has been said that no ceding of territory actually happened. This is Sri Lankan territory. Then there is another RTI, 1st of October 2013. As per records available with the ministry, there is no agreement on Katchatheevu belonging to the governments of India and Sri Lanka. However, a copy of the agreement on the boundary in historic waters between the two countries and related matters signed on 26 June 1976 is enclosed. So that's what repeated RTI queries have foretold. But now suddenly the RTI says all of this information has come out. Yes, Mr. Narayanan.
I'm glad finally you gave me the time. I remember it is none other than Vajpayee who accused our Prime Minister there has to be a Rajniti. You do not do things when you are in the government for petty politics. He has been warned once during the Gujarat riot. Now, unfortunately, the Prime Minister, for itsy-bitsy advantage, electoral advantage, is trying to rake up an issue between the country, which is not even in the periphery of the Tamil Nadu election. As Mr. Rao has pointed out, it's not going to yield result. But I can tell you that he is playing external affairs between the country for petty advantage. He ought to have been a statesman. Instead, he is being a petty politician. Number two, the Prime Minister of India has recently ceded 2,000 square kilometers of the land between China and India. In comparison, the land that has been given is 2 kilometers. So you can see, we are talking about 80 years back, giving a 2 square kilometers of land whereas now the Prime Minister since 2020 has given away 2,000 square kilometers. Number 3, the Prime Minister of India should have really, in an agreement with Bangladesh, gave away about 100 and odd places and took about 55 of them back. Now, is this the way that when he has done it because he wanted the bilateral relationship between Bangladesh and India to be in a friendly manner, and we never questioned it because we are patriots. We know what is good for the country. We don't rake up the issue between the countries on where it is advantageous to India. For example, after Prime Minister Mr. Modi ji has taken over, now we have lost Maldives, which has been a friendly nation. Nepal, which has been a Hindu nation, which has been always been with us, has gone away. Sri Lanka now is allowing China into Sri Lanka, and even Burma, there's a problem. Pakistan is a problem. It is our Prime Minister, Indira Gandhi, who broke Pakistan, and got us Bangladesh. This Prime Minister who says he has a 56-inch is no comparison to the brave lady of India who bifurcated the Pakistan and gave away the Bangladesh. The Prime Minister of India is really ought to be looking at it as a statesman, but unfortunate, he is playing petty politics. Now, you talked about an RTI in 2015. You said the date is 2013. It's 2015 RTI.
No. I'm reading two separate RTIs. America Veerararan. Please, let's not confuse.
Wait,
I read the first RTI. No, please don't misquote me, sir. I will object.
Give me about 30 seconds, then you can...
Sir, please don't misquote me. My humble request. 27 January 2015, I read one RTI order.
Okay,
1st of October 2013, I read the next RTI order. Go ahead, please.
I'm sorry. I misquoted you. The 2015 thing you read yourself has been given by the Modi Sarkar. Nothing has been given away. There has been a dispute. Unlike Modi giving out 2,000 square kilometers after 2020, it has not been given away. There has been a dispute. The dispute has been resolved. And in return, we got land near Kanyakumari where we had fishing rights, which we did not have earlier. Okay. In addition, the 6 lakh Tamilians were allowed into India who were not having thing. And the second thing is that the several Tamilians got Sri Lankan citizenship. And most important thing I want to ask the Prime Minister, if he's really talking about Tamil Nadu fishermen, why is he not given any flood relief to Tamil Nadu? Why is he giving only 29 rupees on every 100 rupees of tax we are giving to the center?
Right. Okay.
Can I respond quickly?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Anand, first thing is, it is sad to see Narayananji, a very seasoned person, continuing the indifference, dismissive attitude, carelessness, and insensitive attitude of Nehru, Indira Gandhi to compare the size of the land. It is not please don't interrupt me. It is not the size of the land. Because you forfeited the land and the navigation pass, people are dying. It doesn't matter how much size of the land matters. It is of strategic importance and people are suffering, dying and being detained because of that. Second thing, today I want to call out the bluff of Mr. Chidambaram and Jairam Ramesh who tweeted. They said, in exchange 6 lakh people were repatriated. This is a lie, Anand. You check. You're good with facts. This was the Sri Mavo Shastri Ji Pact in 1964. It dealt with 9,75,000 people, out of which 5,25,000 people were to be repatriated, 3 lakh people were to be given citizenship, and 1,50,000 people were to be dealt later. And there was another accord signed in 1974 which discussed about 75,000 people getting citizenship and repatriation. So the 6 lakh people was done by Shastri Ji, but the dynastic party, how can they give credit to Shastri Ji? They'll only give credit to Indira Ji. The fact happened in 1964 and they're saying 6 lakh people came out in 1974. That's a white lie. I want to call that lie. And then,
it is unfortunate. I need to come in.
Let me complete, sir.
I need to come in, please.
I didn't interrupt you. I can shout over too. I didn't interrupt you. Again, what I want to reiterate, Anand, these are the lies said by these people. This is not a political issue. It is a issue which concerns the people. And first thing you should ask is when people say, BJP raises it, why is not a DMK spokesperson here or an official Congress person? Because they don't have a face to defend. the chief minister has written 21 times talking about Katchatheevu when his own DMK government and his father as chief minister have colluded in gifting away this land. So that is the crux of the matter, and their bluff has been called today. They have been unmasked, and the height of hypocrisy has been exposed, and which is why they will eventually pay for this in the public realm, and the people of Tamil Nadu will not forgive them, and will teach them a fitting lesson.
The transfer of Katchatheevu to 1 minute, Mr. America Narayanan. The transfer of I'm coming to you after this. Please hear me out. The transfer of Katchatheevu to Sri Lanka by the union government without the state government's consent has deprived Tamil Nadu fishermen's rights and adversely impacted their livelihood. This is Thiru M.K. Stalin writing to the Prime Minister ahead of or just around the time Ranil Wickramasinghe was going to visit India, and this is in August 2023. Last year, who is raising the issue of Katchatheevu and who is alleging that this was done without the consent of the state government? Mr. M.K. Stalin, your own ally in Tamil Nadu and part of the India alliance, is making this allegation against who? Against our former Prime Minister, Srimati Indira Gandhi, tall Congress leader, who you were just praising. So, Mr. Stalin, is Mr. Stalin saying the truth or is he lying?
First thing, just like BJP stole Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, now they are also trying to steal Lal Bahadur Shastri, because in nowhere, since you were trying to show Indira Gandhi, I said they gotten into it in the interest of India. Now you are saying, and I did not say anything negative about Lal Bahadur Shastri. Lal Bahadur Shastri, don't take away Lal Bahadur Shastri, steals Lal Bahadur Shastri like you have stolen Sardar Patel from us because you don't have any leader to speak of. The second thing is that the real question, the Prime Minister today is shedding crocodile tears because he has not done anything for Tamil Nadu.
Is Mr. M.K. Stalin lying or is he saying the truth? Did Mrs. Indira Gandhi give away Katchatheevu to Sri Lanka?
Keshavan,
this is Anand Narasimhan here, Mr. America Narayanan. I am asking you, Mr. Narayanan.
I interrupted,
Mr. Narayanan. Mr. America Narayanan, can you hear me, sir? If you can hear Mr. America Narayanan, this is Anand Narasimhan here. I am asking you, Mr. M.K. Stalin has claimed that the transfer of Katchatheevu to Sri Lanka happened without the state government's consent. It's on paper written to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, but the transfer happened in 1974 during the time of Indira Gandhi. Is Mr. M.K. Stalin saying the truth or is he being economical with facts?
Well, I'm not here representing Mr. Stalin, so I cannot answer.
You are representing the Congress party and Mrs. Indira Gandhi. Did Mrs. Indira Gandhi not inform Mr. Karunanidhi?
I will answer that.
Did Mrs. Indira Gandhi take the decision without informing Mr. Muthuvel Karunanidhi?
Even today, we don't know the RTI date that was Annamalai has applied and when he got the thing. You guys had a plan to rake up a dead issue and
you still are not answering the question. Why are you not? It's a simple question, sir. Is Mr. M.K. Stalin saying the truth? Did Mrs. Indira Gandhi keep Mr. Karunanidhi involved or is he being economical with facts? Again, you will not answer.
Mr. Stalin may not be privy and what he questioned, what he believed to be true.
He is not privy to his own father's decision. He is not privy to his own father's decision.
I'm asking you, are you familiar? See, you
I am asking you, sir. So then
in your family, do you know what your father made a certain decision?
Mr. Narayanan, let me ask you this. Now that this information has come out, should Mr. Stalin make any more claims around Katchatheevu?
What is the date of the RTI filing and response? Can you please give that to me?
I can tell you the date of this communication, 20th of June 1974. Yes, Mr. Pullarao. Mr. Pullarao, my simple point to you, Mr. Pullarao, if Mr. Stalin was not aware of this information, now will Mr. Stalin recuse himself and retract the 21 letters that he has sent so far? Will he then say that no, my father was inclined? inclined to
tell you why.
accept general acceptance of the
You're
solution.
bypassing my question, Anand. My
Mr.
question
Pullara.
is, when did
50 years-
Mr. Annamalai
50
ask
years
this
ago.
question, RTI,
One
and
minute.
Sir, please
his
ask that
response.
question of the BJP or Mr. Annamalai. I can only ask question of the information in present in front
you
of here.
are-
You
you
said
Okay,
Mrs.
let me
Indira
have
Gandhi
a-
should be credited for resolving an issue. Mr. Stalin has said that the state government was not kept in the loop. The RTI reply says that then Chief Minister of the state of Tamil Nadu was inclined. He was briefed twice and he had accepted the solution. Yes, Mr. Pullarao. Then Mr. Stalin, should he retract his letter?
There is one thing is, Mr. Stalin has made an economic and political demand. What prevailed in 1974 may not prevail in 2024. There are new demands. In those days when they did this transaction, they did not have this kind of knowledge. And therefore, you'll have to excuse them. You have to look forward. And he wants the rights to be renegotiated. That's all he has asked. There's nothing wrong in that. And I might also point out there's a small historical error which Mr. America Narayanan has. Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Nepal was handed over, Mr. Narayanan, by Manmohan Singh to the Chinese in 2008. I just wanted to make a historical correct. The king was overthrown, India endorsed it, and now we got an enemy on our heads. That's just a historical fact. But coming back, I still believe the Prime Minister, with all his knowledge of foreign affairs, should not have got into this.
No, sir.
I appreciate
no,
the
sir.
Prime Minister.
The Prime
When he
Minister,
refused-
the Prime Minister has every right to put forth the facts in place. Mr. Stalin, on the one hand, is telling the fisher folk that your interests are being compromised because Katchatheevu was given away. Then Mr. Stalin has to accept that his father, the then Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, was aware of the decision to hand over Katchatheevu by Bharat to perhaps get a larger, greater solution, sir. That's what you are saying right now. 5th of March was when the RTI was filed, 12th of March when the response was given. So within a week, this response came to the fore. Mr. America V. Narayanan, your question also answered. Annamalai filed the RTI response on the 5th of March. Our team is telling me right now via my earpiece. Yes, Mr. Keshavan, the alacrity in the response. Final word, Mr. Keshavan.
Your show is called The Right Stand. The right stand has been taken by the Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister in exposing these people, dubious elements who played a Shakuni-like match fixing to betray the Tamil people and cede Katchatheevu, and they have been so dubious that they have been claiming that they are protectors of these people whom they betrayed. That is why who did it and who hid it has been exposed. And let me just say one thing: they're talking about politics. These people have written it in the manifesto of the DMK. This is the height of hypocrisy. You conspired, colluded and connived and gave away the land with your partner Congress in 74, and today you come and say you will get justice for the betrayal you have done.
Interestingly,
all that we need to do is go to the people and ask pardon and apologies.
I am running out of time, but I interestingly want to say that the time or around the same time that the DMK Chief Minister then Mr. Karunanidhi Pertis in principle agreed and said I will not publicly say, and we've got information now, and I'm just going to read this, that a DMK leader at that time, he actually raised concern.
Ira Serian.
Yes, Ira Serian at that time.
He was completely clueless. They kept their own party members in the dark. He raised in parliament without knowing that the DMK was speaking to the Congress central government and giving it away. That's the kind of double game they played. That is why I said it's Shakuni match fixing.
Well, the matter
One
is
last
out
point,
there.
Anandji.
Katchatheevu has been yielded, just like Aksai Chin, just like those portions of the run of
2,000
Kutch.
square kilometers.
Do you have proof
where
of that
the
2,000
Chinese
square kilometers, sir?
were inside
640
India
square
when
kilometers
we were
is as
talking
recorded
to
by
Chinese.
Mr. Shyam Saran under the UPA that was ceded in 4 years between 2008 and 2012. Mr. Shyam Saran's matter is on record. The 2,000 kilometers that you have repeatedly claimed here on the show, do you have any written proof of the same, sir? If you have proof, please put it out here and we'll ask the government. But Mr. Shyam Saran's chronicle says 640 square kilometers of land belonging to Bharat was taken over by the Chinese under the UPA 2 rule. That's what he has actually put out there. Would you have to say anything there? And the Prime Minister of Bharat said not a blade of grass grows there. And today you know that the biggest headache for us strategically sits on top of our head in Aksai Chin.
And you know
So
what
quite
Maharashtra
rich
Prime
when it
Minister
comes to
was
allegations,
all of a
but let's
sudden
talk facts and what
concerned
is
for
there
Tamil Nadu
documented.
and
What is
he has
documented
never
is
given
that
any
the son
money
is
to
asking
Tamil
who
Nadu.
gave away Katchatheevu
The
without the
29
state's
rupees
consent,
of every
and
100
while the
rupees
father
which you
says
have
that he was
taxed is
accepted
coming
to
back to
incline,
us.
he accepted
This
and he
is
was
the way
inclined
to
to
show the
accept the
concern.
solution
We are
quietly,
asking
not
the
in
Prime
public
Minister of
domain
India.
because it will politically hurt us. So who played the double game with the people of Tamil Nadu is a question that
are you going
remains.
to let me
Let the
respond to
viewers
you?
decide. We've put the facts out. Thank you very much. I have to wind up for the moment, ladies and gentlemen. Winding up this debate, ladies and gentlemen, we take a very, very short break. When we come back, we will debate Ligacade. But on the way out, one of the first persons to petition as a young, upcoming journalist soon after graduation, Mr. Brij Khandelwal, had petitioned the courts even in 1973, even before this agreement was signed, saying you cannot give up a single land or piece of Bharat to anybody else. The government of the day should not have the right to give up any part that is integral to Bharat. But that petition then was dismissed. We had a conversation with him a short while ago. Here's an excerpt. Joining us now is Mr. Brij Khandelwal, a very senior journalist who way back in the 70s itself was the first to move the Delhi High Court against this move of handing over Katchatheevu to Ceylon or Sri Lanka. If I may ask you, why did you move court? It was a civil writ petition, if I remember correctly, and I have just seen that petition, where you had moved the court saying that no government of any country has the right to just hand over its territory. You had challenged that decision at that time.
Yes. It was in 1973 or that there was some talk of giving away this piece of land which they called barren. So in 74 I was mentally or rather emotionally disturbed because that time I felt India, I don't know about other countries, but India had no business to part away with a chunk of land and calling it barren. After all, it's part of Mother India, and how can you just one fine day decide you become so magnanimous and you just give it away to a country which later on turned very hostile? And it was very futuristic actually. Futuristic in the sense that I thought today our relations with Sri Lanka are okay, fine, but tomorrow or day after they could become hostile and sour, and which eventually it did. Because whole of 1980s we saw the whole lot of problems with Sri Lanka, including Lette and the death of former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, all, and then we had to send our forces, IPKF, to Sri Lanka. All that happened. So in 74 I felt this, someday our relations could turn bitter and there could be problems and there could be real logistic or militaristic designs against India from this tiny island. So then I thought, what should I do? The protesting won't make a difference. Let me file a petition. I was just come out of my journalism course from IIMC. I was a student looking for a job. So I didn't have money, but anyway, some people helped me and I filed this petition, and I thought I must stall this process because this was illegal and unconstitutional. So that is how it all started.
Co-powered by
Hello and welcome to the brand new series Election Street Side. This will be a fun segment where we'll be focusing on food, but we'll be also talking about the politics. In fact, it's just few months for the general elections and we are here to gauge from the people exactly what they think about the coming up elections and also about their particular candidates. While taking a stroll in the streets of Chandni Chowk, one thing we cannot miss is Golgappas or the Puchkas we say. This is Padam Chaat Corner here in Chandni Chowk. Perhaps this is one of those hidden gems a lot of people don't know about. Some people might know because this is a local eatery situated in the streets of the national capital. In fact, I found a family over here. I did the bhalla and dahi golgappa and stuff. Sir, दही भल्ले का आप मज़ा लेता रहिए. एक चीज़ पूछना चाहूँगा, दिल्ली में और देश में चुनाव आने वाले हैं, बहुत कम समय रह गया है. क्या देखते हैं अभी की सिचुएशन के हिसाब से? क्या लगता है आपके मनपसंद प्रत्याशी कौन है? क्या किसको जीतता देखते हैं?
भैया जीतेगा तो बीजेपी.
अच्छा, क्यों इतनी श्योरिटी क्यों है आपको?
क्योंकि काम अच्छा हो रहा है और आम आदमी पार्टी के बारे में तो सबको पता चल ही चुका है. अभी कितने घोटाला हुआ है, तो फिर उसके बाद कुछ बोलने का बचा ही नहीं है.
एक होता है मेरिट पे वोट देना और एक होता है चेहरे पे वोट देना. आप क्या चूज करते हैं, मेरिट या चेहरा?
अभी तो मेरिट पे ही वोट दिया जाएगा, कभी चेहरे पे वोट नहीं जाएगा.
अच्छा.
कोई सगा नहीं है. मेरिट जिसका अच्छा है वो उसी को वोट देना चाहिए. वो चलो ठीक है, मैं बोल दिया बीजेपी को जीतेगा, पर आम आदमी पार्टी का कोई अच्छा चेहरा होगा तो वो जीतेगा.
अच्छा, आपकी कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी कौन सी होती है?
साउथ दिल्ली.
साउथ दिल्ली. तो आपके प्रत्याशी
रामवीर सिंह बिधूड़ी है उसमें से
जी.
और सही राम पहलवान आम आदमी पार्टी से.
जी जी जी. तो क्या कहते हैं, मतलब आप खासी अगर मोटे तौर पे देखा जाए तो आप खुश रहे हैं भाजपा के काम से और उन्हीं को अगली बार दोबारा देखना चाहते हैं?
भाजपा का काम तो देखो, इतनी बड़े देश में सब काम सबको पसंद नहीं आता है, पर फिर भी बहुत से काम ऐसा होता है जो भाजपा अच्छा कर रहा है.
आपके डैड ने बोला कि ही इज गोना वोट ऑन मेरिट, ना कि किसी चेहरे पे. आपका क्या लुकआउट रहता है?
मेरा लुकआउट सेम है. वोट हमेशा मेरिट पे ही करना चाहिए, क्योंकि अल्टीमेटली जो जीत के आएंगे वही आपके लिए कुछ काम करेंगे, वही देश के लिए सोचेंगे.
देश के लिए वही लोग सोचेंगे. अच्छा, देश के लिए सोचेंगे. मैं बाबूजी को बोल देता हूँ, सर एक हमें भी गोलगप्पा खिला दीजिए पहले. सर एक पीस हमें भी खिला दीजिएगा. तो इतने वो गोलगप्पा बनाते. इतने आपसे एक चीज़ और पूछूंगा मैं, आप प्राइवेट सेक्टर में जॉब करते हैं, गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर में?
मैं सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयड चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट हूँ.
आप चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट है. अच्छा, चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट हो तो मैं एक सवाल पूछूंगा. बहुत सारे ऑपोजिशन पार्टीज भी और लोग भी ये बात करते हैं जीएसटी को लेकर तकलीफ की. क्या आपको लगता है कॉम्प्लिकेशंस
हैं, उसको थोड़ा सा ईज आउट करने की ज़रूरत है. कई जगह पर मतलब मैं बोलूँगा कि थोड़ी सी ज़्यादा सख्ती हो गई है.
मैम, आप भी कुछ बोलना चाहेंगे? आप भी वोट डालेंगे एक महिला होने के नाते, एक देश के नागरिक होने के नाते. क्या लगता है कि कौन आपके हिसाब से सही चॉइस है?
Back on, ladies and gentlemen, Arvind Kejriwal has been sent into custody till the 15th of April, judicial custody, and he will remain there in Tihar jail. But more importantly, the Enforcement Directorate has made some very interesting claims. The biggest twist in the tale perhaps is the mentioning of two Aam Aadmi Party leaders by the Delhi Chief Minister himself during questioning, and this was revealed by the ASG Raju, who was appearing on behalf of the Enforcement Directorate. The ED has said that Arvind Kejriwal has given false and contrary evidence vis-a-vis other members of the Aam Aadmi Party. When he was confronted with statements given by his own party leaders, he called the leaders confused. Arvind Kejriwal allegedly, he is alleged that initially that ND Gupta is an active member of the Aam Aadmi Party and is a member of the Political Affairs Committee and has knowledge of the party's functioning. But when confronted with the statement of ND Gupta himself, wherein ND Gupta reveals that the national convener of the party takes all decisions, Arvind Kejriwal called the national treasurer of the party, the political PAC member and active member, as a confused person. On being asked about the extent of interaction and reporting of Vijay Nair to Arvind Kejriwal, he stated that Vijay Nair didn't report to him, but to Ms. Atishi and Saurabh Bhardwaj, and his interaction with Nair was limited. Guru Prakash Paswan of the BJP with us, Piyush Joshi, political analyst and an Aam Aadmi Party supporter with us. Namaste and Jai Hind, gentlemen. Earlier in the day, I was on News 18 India on my show, The Akhada, and we had Deepak Bish, our News 18 India colleague, who was in courtroom at that time, and he was sitting just behind Atishi and Saurabh Bharadwaj, and he said that they were shocked. The first reaction was shock when ASG Raju said that during investigation, Mr. Kejriwal said that Vijay Nair did not report to me, he reported to Atishi and Saurabh. My interaction with him was limited. And Piyush Joshi, it's an open secret that Vijay Nair, the communications and media head, the alleged conduit in this entire liquor policy scam, was residing right next to the Chief Minister's residence. Piyush Joshi. Two more leaders thrown under the bus?
Well, it is not for me to say that those leaders are thrown under the bus or something of that sort. what I can decipher from the way the ED has represented Mr. Kejriwal's version of events, because the party has been very solidly standing behind Mr. Kejriwal so far, and so are the MLAs. So in order to create some confusion of some sort, in order to demolish that support base, what better can you do than to bring out such kind of statements? Because then those people who are standing solidly behind Mr. Kejriwal may harbor certain doubts. Sadly, it's not going to happen, and the party is going to rally behind Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. The support base of Mr. Kejriwal remains very strong.
Are you saying
the
that
the
ED lawyer representing the ED was being economical with facts or lying in court?
It is not for me to decide. It is for the judge to decide. It is for the courts to decide whether he was lying or not. But when you look at the construction of the whole alleged liquor scam, when you look at the ignorance of the fact that Aurobindo Pharma donated 55 crores despite an ED watch on those accounts to the Bharatiya Janata Party, and that has been ignored. And the way that Sarath Reddy has been made an approver, after making statements that he is being forced into making certain kind of statements, and then released on bail for a mere complaint of back pain. So definitely questions are there as to whether the ED and the ASG...
No, but do you know that, Mr. Piyush Joshi, that this interrogation is under PMLA? And what are the rules for interrogation under PMLA?
So
that
exactly,
every interrogation has to be videographed.
Anand, I totally agree with you. That is why.
So then I am asking you, Piyush Joshi ji, that the ED is not saying we want to investigate Saurabh Bharadwaj and Atishi. It is Mr. Kejriwal who has said that Vijay Nair reported to Saurabh Bharadwaj and Atishi. You please tell me, is that true?
Anandji, I don't know. How would I know? Because I am not privy to the information, what is happening, behind closed doors in an ED interrogation.
No. I am asking you, did Mr. Vijay Nair report to Saurabh Bharadwaj and Atishi?
How would I know, boss? How would I know? I am not the part of government. I am not a member of Legislative Assembly of Delhi. I am not a part of the
But it is Mr. Kejriwal who has named these two. So what does that imply? It's not the ED, but Mr. Kejriwal who's named these two.
Exactly. All I am saying, Anandji, that I do not trust the enforcement directorate, at all when it comes to the persecution and the prosecution.
I am asking you, sir,
opposition.
these are two people who are standing steadfast, and perhaps because flag bearers of the entire Aam Aadmi Party's campaign against the government and ED action, and standing in support of Mr. Kejriwal. But is Mr. Kejriwal supporting them, standing for them? Are you not even shocked that the ED would make a revelation like this? I am asking you.
No, I'm basically shocked, but you can say I'm a little bit surprised, because ED can go to extraordinary lengths to.
I can only say, sir, so far the proceedings will
leader.
continue. When the statement was made by the ASG Raju, Mr. Kejriwal or his lawyers did not refute this statement in court. We can only say what happened in court today. They did not refute this statement.
Look, Mr. Kejriwal did not even apply for bail today. So there is a strategy at mind. I don't know what the strategy his lawyers have decided for him. What kind of statements he has made made in regard to Saurabh and Atishi. I'm not privy to that. I'm not I'm not having that kind of information. All I am saying that the enforcement directorate is going to go to extraordinary lengths to remove
my
the
simple point, Piyushi, if you were Mr. Kejriwal or I was Mr. Kejriwal, would I be batting for my teammates and shielding them, or would I be naming them and saying, oh, Vijay Nair had no connection with me, he was actually reporting to these two?
I am sure Mr. Kejriwal is behind the Aam Aadmi Party and all the top leaders of Aam Aadmi Party, because all the leaders derive inspiration from Mr. Kejriwal, from his model of governance.
Well, I'm going to check with our team if there is a reaction from Atishi or Saurabh Bharadwaj so far, but those who were so vocal till just yesterday morning or even this morning have suddenly gone on silent mode. We'll see if there is a reaction from Mr. Saurabh Bharadwaj or Ms. Atishi. Yes, Guru Prakash Paswan, what would you say? No. So far there is no reaction all through the day after them being named by Mr. Kejriwal and that revelation being made by the ED lawyer saying this is what Mr. Kejriwal said in court. So far, neither Atishi nor Saurabh have spoken. So that's the reality. Yes, Guru Prakash Paswan.
No, Anandji, I think I am completely surprised to see that why are people shocked. There is a history with respect to Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. Anna Hazare, the face of the movement of India against corruption. He went on record and said Arvind Kejriwal को उनके कर्मों की सजा मिली है. Kumar Vishwas, a trusted colleague, a fellow traveller of India against corruption, has gone against Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. Mr. Manish Sisodia has been in jail, languishing there for more than 1 year. And what is this excellent, brilliant strategy that my friend Piyush Joshi is talking about? This is just beyond my comprehension. Anandji, I'm reminded of a song. It came a couple of years ago that said, "तुझ में रब दिखता है." आज भारत के लोगों को अरविंद केजरीवाल में लालू यादव और मोहम्मद शहाबुद्दीन दिखते हैं. लालू यादव क्यों दिखते हैं? लालू यादव को जब जेल जाना था तो उन्होंने राबड़ी देवी को सत्ता की बागडोर सौंपी थी. मोहम्मद शहाबुद्दीन क्यों दिखते हैं? कि वो जेल से सिवान चलाना चाहते थे. अरविंद केजरीवाल वांट्स टू रन दिल्ली फ्रॉम जेल. जेल से गैंग चलते हैं. जेल से यू कैन नॉट रन अ प्लेस लाइक दिल्ली. So Mr. Arvind Kejriwal today, in the eyes of the people of India, have been exposed as nothing but a sophisticated version of Mr. Lalu Prasad Yadav and Mr. Mohammad Shahabuddin. That is the fact
गुरु
of the
प्रकाश
matter.
पासवान जी,
I
अगर
just
राम
don't
राज्य की
understand.
कल्पना कर रहे हैं और उसका वादा या उसका सपना आपकी सरकार और आपकी पार्टी दिखा रही है, तो फिर जेल से ना गैंग राज चलना चाहिए, ना सरकारें चलनी चाहिए, दोनों नहीं चलना चाहिए. So far, Atishi and Saurabh have tweeted today about something, but they have not made any reference to what the revelation that was made in court. Just qualifying this and putting it on record. Yes, continue, Guru Prakash Paswan, and then Piyush Joshi respond.
No, exactly, and that is exactly my point. That shows the poverty of intelligence of the entire opposition leader. I was completely surprised to see who were there at the Ramlila Maidan. The wife of Hemant Soren, wife of Arvind Kejriwal, son of Lalu Yadav, son of Mulayam Singh Yadav, son of Farooq Abdullah. So the sons and daughters and the wives, they were trying to save democracy. This is just beyond my comprehension. They went to Delhi for a weekend get-together. They were in Delhi for a lunch at the Delhi Gymkhana Club, and they decided, let's have a rally. Let's save democracy. So the entire opposition today, it shows their poverty of thought. They are standing behind a man for which the court has categorically said, the court has said, and I quote, that there is a money trail of more than 330 crore rupees. The ED has said there was an exchange of money of worth more than 100 crore by K. Kavita and Aam Aadmi Party leaders. So the entire opposition leader, in an attempt to legitimize, to justify corruption, to legitimize dynasty, they are standing solidly behind Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. It exposes not only Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, but the entire opposition today. We have to understand the people who were just certifying authority. PM Modi ने कहा कि सेल्फ सर्टिफिकेशन कर सकते हो, तो अरविंद केजरीवाल ने उसको ज्यादा समझ लिया. वो अपने आप को ईमानदारी का सर्टिफिकेट देने लगे. The स्वघोषित कट्टर ईमानदार, where are these people today? I want to ask you today, because we have to look at it. All of them, all the opposition at the Ramlila Maidan, they were there for doing nothing but just to legitimize and justify institutional corruption and dynasty. And today Mr. Arvind Kejriwal has to answer. But
what Mr. Paswan is saying, it amuses me to only, a little extent. Why? Because, the Honorable Supreme Court has said that there is an alleged money trail. It is not yet proven money trail. And so is the ED saying that there is an alleged money trail of 100 crores. Okay. But the only proven money trail is, from arising from Aurobindo Pharma and ending at the BJP headquarters. I am surprised that a person who has been prime accused under the PMLA Act, his name is Sharath Reddy, his company buys electoral bonds worth 55 crores and hands it over to the BJP headquarters right under the nose of the Enforcement Directorate. And the Enforcement Directorate does not even track that transaction. So that is what surprises me, and then this person goes and becomes an approval name.
Anandji, can I come in?
So this is what surprises me, that the level to which Bharatiya Janata Party is stooping, the level to which the whole government is stooping down to just demolish the opposition once and for all, and to establish a pugilistic form of government in this country. Sadly, this is not going to happen. You may call all the opposition leader names, you may freeze their accounts, you may extort money from industrialists in the name of electoral bonds, but at the end of the day, it is the people of the country who rule the country. It is the people of the country who are the real bosses, and not Mr. Modi and not Mr. Shah. And the people are going to answer in 2024 and restrict you to 150 to 225 at the max.
Guru Prakash Paswan, respond.
No, I think the prediction of seats with respect to Aam Aadmi Party has a very interesting history. The same Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, who is in Tihar jail, who will be spending his night to night in Tihar jail, has made a prediction कि गुजरात में आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार बन रही है. So any prediction that comes from Aam Aadmi Party supporter, Aam Aadmi Party sympathizer, the people of India take it with a pinch of salt. We have to understand, Anandji, there is a characteristic betrayal tendency of Mr. Arvind Kejriwal's personality. There is a pathological character of Mr. Arvind Kejriwal where he has in the past illustrated, demonstrated that I am a personality of betrayal. Like I said, from Anna Hazare to Prashant Bhushan to Yogendra Yadav, every single person who was standing with Mr. Arvind Kejriwal India Against Corruption, he has betrayed them. As far as the question on ED is concerned, I request the opposition leader to have a sense of clarity. Who are you fighting against? Are you fighting against the Bharatiya Janata Party? Are you fighting against Mr. Narendra Modi? Are you fighting against the Election Commission of India? Are you fighting against the Supreme Court of India? Constitution of India? Are you fighting against the constitutional ethos and principle? I want to ask you tonight.